Hello, I'm Brian, and welcome to Mead and More. So today we are back to our basic mead, which we put into secondary a few days ago. We're still slowly off-gassing, which I hope you can see that. Today we're going to look at what we can do with a basic mead once it's been fermented to bring a little more life to it. What I'm going to do is I want to add a pound of blackberries, which these are frozen blackberries. They've been thawing for a couple of hours now. I'm going to add a vanilla bean, and I want to add a half a teaspoon of sassafras bark, just to add a little something extra to it. So this is just something we can do to a basic mead while it's finishing to bring that flavor up an extra notch. Alright, so today we have a pound of blackberries, a vanilla bean, and some sassafras bark. I'm going to go ahead and put links down below if you want to purchase any of this stuff, or just see what it is that we're purchasing, or what we have. I'm just getting everything sanitized here. Where I want to start off, let's pull the, we're just going to set this off to the side, pull the airlock out. We're going to take a drink. And what I have is some Ceylon cinnamon sticks. These smell fantastic. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put 3 cinnamon sticks in the brew. I will crack them open. Oh my goodness. The reason I crack them open is the smell on the inside is just fantastic. These cinnamon sticks smell so good on the inside, and I want to make sure that that comes through in the brew. So that's what they look like. We'll just drop them in. Oh God, they smell so good. Drop those guys right in there. We're going to swish them around in. And then we will put in, we're going to put in 1 whole vanilla bean. These are Madagascar vanilla beans. And alright, there is 1. We're only going to put in 1. But with that 1, I want to make sure to cut it lengthwise, because I want to get as much of that vanilla out of there as possible. Did it actually cut lengthwise? It did not. There we go. There we have a slice of it lengthwise. I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half as well, because I want to get as much in there as possible. What we have left over, I'm going to go ahead and cut that one more time, because what I'm trying to do is get as much of that interior of the vanilla as I possibly can into the brew. So when you look at it, let's go ahead and cut them in half that way. And when we go down lengthwise, you can see that's all the vanilla. That is the good stuff. That's what we want inside our brew. So let's get, oh, he's caught. Let's get him in there. Swish down inside. And let's get any of this excess that's right here down on there as well. Right there. We have 1 pound of blackberries. We're just going to go ahead and drop them all in there. Get them. So we end up with 3 cinnamon sticks, 1 vanilla bean, and 1 whole pound of blackberries. Look at my hands already, and this is just from the blackberries. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this is I know that the yeast that I use can definitely do a little more sugar than what I gave it. So I want to give it a little bit more sugar to eat off of. But I also want to impart some other flavors to it. And to show you that even though we started with a basic mead that would have been quite drinkable as it was, this one wasn't turning out too bad, even though it was originally started with a couple of balloons and a mason jar, just letting it sit. We want to go ahead and turn this into something that is much more than its base parts. And again, 1 full pound of blackberries for what would have ended up being 2/3 of half a gallon, so about 40 ounces. And this will take it right up to, or real close to, 60 ounces, 60 to 64 ounces of finished, or of the bottle. So there we go. Let's get the last one in there. Now these are frozen. One of the reasons I want to use frozen is the freezing process creates ice fragments which will pierce the membrane walls of the blackberries. With those being pierced, it should impart a lot more of the blackberry sugars and the blackberry flavor into the basic mead we started with. So, with that, we are going to go ahead and I'm gonna resanitize the bung, sanitize just the end of the bubbler, and this is what we have. You know, I almost forgot the sassafras. Alright, so we have our spoon sanitized. We want to put in a let's see, I'm thinking let's put in a half a teaspoon of sassafras bark. Okay, so now we have 3 cinnamon. Right now we have 3 cinnamon sticks in here, 1 vanilla bean, and a half teaspoon of sassafras bark, as well as 1 pound of blackberries. We're gonna give it a quick swish just to make sure everything is in there, it's incorporated, everything is down into the liquid. We're gonna take our bung, we're gonna give it a quick dip in our sanitizer just to make sure that nothing has happened to it since we started. Get it in there, and there we go. We'll dip off the end of our sanitizer, or end of our bubbler, and pop that into place. Alright, there we go. So now we have our basic mead that we had tested out with a, we originally started this one with a balloon just to get it to ferment. That's as far as we went with the balloon. We racked it over. We actually did 2. One with the balloon. We started a second with a bubbler. That one failed. But we popped the balloon on that one, let it come all the way to fruition. Once they were finished, they went down to a 1.0. We went ahead and racked them into this half-gallon carboy. It has been in this half-gallon carboy for about 2 days now while I've been trying to figure out what to do with it. Now that it's in here, I decided we're going to go ahead and try a blackberry mead. So this is in secondary. We put in a pound of blackberries. We put in 1 vanilla stick. We put in 3 cinnamon sticks. And we put in half a teaspoon of sassafras bark. I'm hoping that will give us some body and give us something that ends up being very, very tasty. So what I'm trying to show is where you start. You can start a mead, you can purchase a couple of things, and you can end up making something that is very, very different than where you began. So we're going to give this about a month, a couple of weeks to a month, see what happens to it. We will revisit this one in a bit and see what we have. Go ahead and rack it off into another bottle and see what we have. If this is something you're enjoying, please go ahead and make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to see how this one turns out. And yeah, we'll see how this comes in a little bit. On that note, yeah, keep brewing, my friends. We'll see you next time.